Well, good morning, guys. We're back in the second high tunnel that I promised you that we would show the next day. Guys, this is, we call this Miss Wanda's high tunnel because this one is her work of art. And I will take you around through it. Guys, if you want to see more about the progression of this high tunnel, go over to her channel, Crazy Daze, CRAZY DAZES, and you will find her weekly vlog over there on the progression of this high tunnel. So over here on Deep South, I'm going to take you on a little bit of a tour through it and show you some of the things and the beauty of growing plants in this high tunnel. All right, we're going to start out over here in one of the corners. Now we have some of our Texas Legend bulbing onions in here. We've been harvesting out of it. Look at the size of some of them things, guys. They're like a softball. They're so big. They're doing fantastic over here. The onion chives are now blooming. Hopefully we're going to be able to save a few seeds from them to get us some more going. And then we're going to come along here, guys, and look at this. Look at these cucumbers. These things are the Market More cucumbers. They are doing fantastic. Now what we're going to do with all of them, I don't know. Got some baby cucumbers right there. Look at that. Little baby cucumbers on there. It won't be long before they'll be big enough to eat. And behind it, we have the lacinato kale. Look at that. I mean, that is, guys, those are Hoss Tool seeds, and they are producing like crazy back there. And then over here beside it there, Miss Wanda puts flowers everywhere. She hides them in and stuff. She's got a mom growing in here, looks like. And I believe we got some Malabar spinach growing right there. This right here. It's going to grow up and twist around this pole here probably. Guys, these are the Cherokee yellow wax beans. There's a few rogue sunflowers that's come up in here, I see. Look at the beauty of those things. Now, you talk about going to be nice in the high tunnel here. It's going to be great pollinator. The Cherokees are doing fantastic. We've been picking them things every other day. You come in here and pull these plants back. I mean, there's still a few beans left in here. We picked them this morning. Just beautiful plants. No disease problems yet. Looks like they're all doing really well. We're waiting for the second bloom on them so that we can begin to pick our second crops of them. And then we have our mullein here. These are from Gemini Homestead. She brought us some mullein plants down here, and we thought we'd try them in the high tunnel. They don't do too good outside, but in this high tunnel, they are loving it. Looks like they're going to go to stalk here before long. And then we have the Algonquin beans. Ms. Wanda had done some experimenting here with them. It seems that these particular beans, the insects here, something comes in here. We're not sure what it is. We haven't found anything yet. But they sure do like to nibble on the leaves. I can't figure out what it is because we see nothing. It must do it at night. Then we have a few Egyptian walking onions, and we have Miss Wanda's daisy planted here. And we have her Miss Wanda's aloe here. She has two different kinds. She has this variety here growing in the corner, and she has this one here from Ms. Denise at Gemini Homestead. So we're anxious to keep them going. In Ms. Wanda's high tunnel here, we try to keep our little baby plants coming on here. Now this is our Star of David okra. A few banana peppers that's left over here we hadn't got planted anywhere. And some jalapenos we hadn't stuck out. A couple of rogue tomatoes that we got left over from planting. Then we have our Egyptian walking onions. Guys, I've never seen Egyptian walking onions look like this. This is unbelievable. They are putting on their onions on the top to get ready to put their babies on. We'll probably be harvesting them off here before long. I mean, just look at the onions. Those things are 3 feet tall. They're huge. And then look at the lacinato dinosaur kale here. Talk about making some of the best kale chips you ever had. These things are fantastic. We harvest the leaves off of them and kind of steam them down a little bit and eat them. I got one here fixing to go to seed. I can tell that. It looks like Ms. Wanda pinched the top out of it. And it's trying to make new seeds. But guys, these things are amazing. And then we have a gold prize squash. We're experimenting with the gold prize squash on the dark shade cloth and the white shade cloth. It seems like neither one has advanced above or beyond the other. Seems like both of them are doing pretty much equal. Then we have the Royal Burgundy Purple snap beans here. We came through this morning and we harvested all the beans off of them. They are doing fantastic here. They're on the north side of the high tunnel, which allows them to get the cooler air coming in here. It seems like they're doing fantastic. Not really any disease problem with them either. We've got one more of the gold prize squash down here, just experimenting with microclimates in the high tunnel. It looks like it's doing fantastic, no problems. Then we have one Cherokee Purple that I stuck over here. We're experimenting with a Cherokee Purple next to the outside wall to see how it does. It's on the north side of the high tunnel. Then we have some experimental beans here that Ms. Wanda has. We don't really know what they are at the moment. We're going to wait till they dry, and once they dry, we can look at the bean and we'll be able to tell what they actually were. We got a few gingers starting to pop up in here. That looks like a turmeric right there. And then, of course, we have her flowers in the corner here. Ms. Wanda loves her flowers. Okay, guys, we're at one of the raised beds in the center of the high tunnel here now. We are, half our onions has been planted along here all since last fall. And they have, they've done fantastic in here. I mean, I can't complain. They've not made any real huge onions out in the center out here. They've done better against the outside walls, but I can't complain. We planted a Cherokee tan in here, and look at this thing. This thing is literally, I mean, isn't that beautiful? It's growing all, we got it growing on this trellis down through here. And guys, we're experimenting also with this trellis system. We come up with an idea of drying our onions inside the high tunnel here. If we keep the humidity down, turn the fans on when it gets up, and literally try to dry these onions, it looks like it's actually working. So if that's the case, this would become one of the greatest drying racks for our onions that we could possibly have. Okay, we're on the other side of that bed. Now the Cherokee tan is actually planted on this side of the bed. We've just got it woven through the cattle panel down through here. And we still have more of our onions in here on this side. We have, guys, we have hundreds of onions planted. But in amongst all this, onions and tomatoes, they all kind of get along together. We have our Cherokee Purples growing up in here. Look at these things. They're growed all up in amongst this. We come in here every day. We bump them. We got them planted about every 3 feet apart down through here. We got lots of Cherokee Purples. This is our go-to tomato here this year in the high tunnel. They are doing fantastic. I had an extra one left over that was in a pot. I had a vacant spot here, so I just stuck it in the ground. It's kind of way behind the rest of them. It's amazing. This tomato and this tomato is the same age. This tomato was left in a little cup. This tomato's been put in the ground where it gets the right nutrition that it needs. And I mean, look at these things. This is amazing, the size of these things. They are just doing fantastic. Now, they are starting to put on little tomatoes. You can see in there, look at that little Cherokee Purple right there at my fingertip. That thing is starting to kick it and get it. Got another one here. There's another tomato up in here. I mean, we got little tomatoes starting to form in there right there. It's doing good. Guys, the Cherokee Purples seem to be loving the raised bed in the center of the high tunnel. All right, this is a black peppercorn plant here that we got from a subscriber. In the pots last year, it just didn't do good in the pot. I took it out of the pot because it almost froze during the winter. And I put it in the ground, and guys, I did this like 2 weeks ago, and this thing is loving being in the ground. It's getting ready to take off, and I'm hoping that finally we figured out where its home needs to be, because it's a vine. It'll grow up on this cattle panel here, and if I have to, I'll build a trellis up over this thing here, and we'll trellis it over it. Now, I actually have another one on the other side over here. I did exactly the same way, right here. And this one started taking off really fast once I got it out of the pot. We had it in the pot with these petunias here, and it just didn't do good. The petunias was just overpowering it. Now, this is the second raised bed here. Many people ask us, how high are these raised beds? They're 10 inches high. Let me go ahead and tell you that. They're filled with some of the best soil I think we could have ever come up with. This is the Cherokee long ear popcorn. We wanted to try some corn in the high tunnel. We didn't want something that just got outrageously tall. So we tried the Cherokee long ear popcorn. It's actually beginning to get ready to tassel here. You can see right there the little tassel starting to come out in it. It's actually doing fantastic in here, better than we anticipated. I'm really excited to see what it's actually going to do in the high tunnel. They're actually starting to put their brace roots on here, so that's kind of exciting to see that they're doing what they're supposed to do here in the high tunnel. That's always a good sign when you see them doing that. There's another one, and that one's putting on a nice set of brace roots. That's good. And at the end of the Cherokee long ear popcorn, we have the Trail of Tears. These are the Cherokee Trail of Tears. They're growing up here. They're starting to bloom, guys. Look at these nice little beans here. The Cherokee Trail of Tears, they can be used as shelling beans or snap beans, depending on what you want to do. Ms. Wanda's wanting to save them this year for shelling beans. We plant them kind of far apart this year. We've tried them before, and in our humidity, they don't do good if they're too close together. So this year, we put them about every 3 to 4 feet apart, trying to see how they do. And in keeping with the Cherokee theme, we planted a squash, which this is a gold prize in between them here, to see how that actually works. And the squash plant's doing pretty good. I can't complain. It's actually doing really well. We have another one right here. It's doing really well. I mean, look at the squash in here. Look at all those squash. There's a pile of squash in this thing. And then she has one of her daisies here on the end to be able to draw in the pollinators because of the bright colors here, guys. So this particular high tunnel has really excelled in the production of vegetables so far. And if everything keeps going well, then I really feel like this one is going to produce a ton of food. Now, as far as producing so far, I mean, you look at the onions. We have several hundred onions in this high tunnel alone. And we're drying them up here. If this works out, then this high tunnel has produced enough onions for us to last an entire year. So here this morning we have our Cherokee Yellow Wax and our Royal Burgundy that we picked out of here. So guys, Ms. Wanda's already canned 27 or 26 pints of these things already. Our goal this year is to have around 365 jars of peas, beans, snap beans, and all this stuff added together so that we know we have at least 1 jar a day of food to eat that has been canned out of the high tunnels here. So guys, I hope y'all have enjoyed the tour of the second high tunnel and the productivity that it puts out. It is Wanda and I's goal to have a third one at some day in the future, so that we can even increase our food production that much more. And guys, it's a beautiful life when you're growing in high tunnels. So thank you guys from Deep South Homestead.